Hi, I'm Jane King, and this is New to the Street, in person back here at the NASDAQ market site in New York City. This show is all about public, private blockchain companies, the CEOs, the founders, and the innovators, bringing you lots of opportunities to consider. Here we go.
Hi, everyone. I'm Monica Melpass, and pleased to be here with Jamie Burke, CEO of Outlier Ventures, by the way, the Web3's leading accelerator by volume, to talk about where we're at with the economy. And some experts say we're in a crypto winter. What's a crypto winter? How do you know if we're in it? What do you think is happening?
Yeah, so I mean, when we're talking about a winter in terms of a technology cycle, the origins of that originally came from AI in the 80s. And it was this kind of like downward cycle where firstly there's kind of negative sentiment within the community. That would lead to a lack of funding, bad press, and then of course a lack of R&D, and that would last for decades.
Right.
Now, we had something similar to that in 2018 to 20 in crypto. I think objectively you could say that was a crypto winter, where all of those things were true. And I think the question is now, are we seeing another form of crypto winter? And I would argue no, and I guess we can kind of get into why.
Okay. And so why do you say it's a no? Why isn't it?
Well, so if we look at R&D to start with, right? So I think the difference between, say, AI and Web3 or crypto, depending on how you want to call it, is that we've already broken out of the R&D phase. We've really been looking at least several years of commercialization, the application of this technology to different commercial industries. And that's continued, right? So we're at our accelerator, we've had over 2,000 startups apply in the last 2 quarters this year.
Terrific.
Which is higher than ever.
Right.
And similarly, even if you go into the R&D phase of it, there is still a huge amount of money being deployed in infrastructure and kind of foundational primitives. And a lot of the leading protocols out there, kind of the top 10 protocols that people are building on, the level of kind of code commits that you're seeing on things like GitHub, both by the core teams and the wider community, are still either sustained or growing. So in terms of the technology and its application, we're still seeing a huge amount of activity there.
So that's encouraging. So what did we learn from the 2018 crypto winter?
Yeah, well, so what happens in these technology cycles in the context of crypto are usually 2 things. The first thing is that there's some kind of foundational primitive where a new form of digital value is created. And that value allows for money to be kind of recycled within the system. That usually leads to an appreciation of price of assets, publicly listed assets. And that sucks in money from somewhere, new money from somewhere. That could be retail, it could be institutional. And so that was ICOs, initial coin offerings in 17. In 2020, it was DeFi. And then more recently, it was NFTs, non-fungible tokens.
Right.
So you first need some kind of new innovation to trigger this period of value creation. But as I said, secondly, you then need some new money to kind of enter the system.
Right.
Obviously, the macro environment's been very favorable to crypto and Web3 with kind of quantitative easing, free money coming through COVID, that's been put to work in the markets. We saw, of course, in classic stock, most tech stocks pumping. That was also true for crypto and Web3. Of course, that money's now evaporated in a wider macro sense. And so we're seeing significant depreciation in listed assets. So the kind of question is, where is this new money going to come from?
Yes, and where are we headed long term?
Right, because if you look at the listed assets, which only really say part of the picture around lack of financing. So another criteria for a winter, a technology winter, is that all funding dries up. But funding comes in crudely in two forms. One is the secondary market that I just mentioned, retail or institutional money, hedge funds, or the primary market, which is where we operate, which is venture capital. And actually in venture capital, we're seeing record levels of capital both allocated to Web3. So $15 billion has been allocated in the last 2 quarters of 2022.
That's impressive.
That's up from $12 billion, same period, 21. And that is money that has to be deployed into Web3. You know, the GPs don't get paid, they don't get their management fee, they don't get their carry unless they deploy that. So that is money that's committed to the space. What we're seeing through our accelerator is that that is still being deployed. It's slowed down a little bit, largely because it's just not so easy to spin up a digital asset anymore, and to be successful, because the wider market's being successful, you really have to start investing on fundamentals. And so as a consequence, VC funds are now actually having to do due diligence. That's constrained by human capital. They might only have, you know, a handful of people. And it's highly technical.
Right.
So that's slowing down the velocity of investing that's happening, but not significantly.
Okay.
We are seeing minor discounts, about 25% discounts in the valuation of early stage projects, but again, not significant compared to what we're seeing in listed assets, either in big tech or in crypto.
Okay. Jamie Burke, Outlier Ventures, thank you so much for being here. Pleasure to hear your insights.
Thanks for having me on.
Have a good day.
Want to get linked to a really good investment? Everyone knows you have to be at the right place at the right time. So here's the deal. Linked2 is that place. And when you sign up, you'll join an awesome community of investors with access to the world's leading private companies way before they go mainstream. Are you ready to get linked to? Our unicorns are waiting. Linked2. Private investing made simple.
Glint has developed proprietary technology that enables everyone to buy gold. Gold that's stored in Brink's vaults, insured by Lloyd's of London. With Glint's app and debit card, peace of mind is just a few taps away. It's easy to protect your hard-earned savings, and there are no minimums, hidden fees, or financial advisors required. To learn how to safeguard your future, go to glintpay.com or download Glint from your favorite app store.
Growing clones in-house can severely drain both quality and costs for cannabis and hemp businesses. PharmaGreen Biotech is the key to growing high-quality plantlets. PharmaGreen services includes premium tissue cultured starter plantlets and live preservation of any plant species. Grow into the future of optimized plant growth with PharmaGreen. See our update at update.pharmagreen.ca.
We're talking with Jason Cozens, the CEO of Glint Pay today, which is a debit card that pays for things in gold, which is just, it's fascinating. I've been thinking about you a lot lately with the inflation, because I know we've talked about inflation and how, and especially with crypto and the collapse that we've seen. And explain to me what the problem is in our economy right now and how gold is interrelated to
Yeah,
that.
sure. Well, I mean, obviously we've got inflation now in the US at 8.5%, and for some people it's even higher. If you're in New York, if you're in LA, it's higher for you. In the UK, it's 8.3%. And this isn't anything new, actually. Inflation's been with us for some time. In my lifetime, it's meant that the cost of living has been increasing dramatically, and the purchasing power of the US dollar has dropped by 85% in my lifetime. It's become nearly worthless. So has most other fiat currencies, government-issued currencies as well. But gold is the ultimate store of value. I mean, it backed the US dollar up until 1971, when Nixon took us off that standard. And the only problem with gold, though, is that you couldn't use it to make normal purchases, and that's what Glint has done. It's given everybody out there a real alternative. We've enabled physical gold as everyday money.
Well, what's so cool about it is that you can pay with actual gold, but this is a real economic thing too, because it will hold its value, you believe, versus anything else out there.
Yeah,
US
absolutely.
dollar.
And these problems which you kind of mentioned before, we've got there's more than just inflation now. We have the stock market collapsing, cryptocurrency bubble deflating. We have, it seems really that we're not going to be able to avoid a recession. We've got war with Russia. All of these things create huge uncertainty and difficulties for people across the country. And what we're giving people is a glint of hope, if you don't mind the pun. We're giving them a choice. You no longer have to be limited to just using the US dollar or any other currency. You can now use gold. Everybody can.
Yeah, to pay for everyday things.
To save, to be able to buy it, save it, spend it for everyday things.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about the gold protocol. This is something new that you have?
Yeah, we've just launched a gold portal for financial advisors and wealth managers, which allows them for the first time to be able to open Glint accounts for their customers. Now, why would they do that? Well, it allows these wealth managers, discretionary wealth managers, to be able to buy allocated gold for their customers. Up until now, they tend to buy ETFs, which are funds that sometimes are backed by gold, or unallocated gold, and in both those situations, there's liability involved or credit involved. With Glint, you're buying real allocated gold that's in the vault in Switzerland, and so by allowing wealth managers and discretionary fund managers and advisors to be able to open Glint accounts for their clients, to be able to manage those accounts for them, then they can buy this real allocated gold. What else does it do? Well, it allows their clients for the first time to have this unprecedented liquidity for their portfolio as well. So anytime their clients, who tend to be asset rich and maybe cash poor, they can say, rather than hassling the advisor for more money and have that sent to them, they can simply just use their Glint account. And effectively they'll be selling their gold when they use the card. That's what happens in real time. They'll be able to spend their bit of their portfolio, and the portfolio manager will go through their normal routine of rebalancing their portfolio whenever they do that. But they don't have the administrative hurdle or headache of dealing with selling and getting funds across to the client. So the
makes gold more liquid.
It does. It brings Glint now not just to a consumer-facing retail product, but now to the wealth management world as well.
Interesting. Well, these are going to be very interesting times for gold.
Yes.
I think so in the years ahead. Thank you so much, Jason.
Thank you.
We can do better. Existing security systems are often obsolete and ineffective. Today's challenges require a new approach, a personal approach. RAD Light My Way places personal safety in the hands of everyone.
This area is under live monitoring, activated by RAD Light My Way.
The only way we make a safer world is when we all have a hand in it.
Activated by RAD Light My Way.
Just one of the innovations from AITX. Visit AITX.ai.
Glint has developed proprietary technology that enables everyone to buy gold. Gold that's stored in Brink's vaults, insured by Lloyd's of London. With Glint's app and debit card, peace of mind is just a few taps away. It's easy to protect your hard-earned savings, and there are no minimums, hidden fees, or financial advisors required. To learn how to safeguard your future, go to glintpay.com or download Glint from your favorite app store.
Want to get linked to a really good investment? Everyone knows you have to be at the right place at the right time. So here's the deal. Link to is that place. And when you sign up, you'll join an awesome community of investors with access to the world's leading private companies way before they go mainstream. Are you ready to get linked to? Our unicorns are waiting. Link to. Private investing made simple.
Secure private data provides messaging, emails, all kinds of systems with privacy in mind. So very different than what we're used to. And with me is CEO Alain Ghiai, who's going to be talking about what happened to me this week.
Yes, unfortunately.
It's so funny, we do all these interviews, and as soon as I got hacked, my email. So what happened was several people I know, got an email supposedly from me saying in broken English, please send me Bitcoin. I'm summarizing, but it was kind of like that. And so people were texting me like, is this from you? This doesn't seem like it's from you. What happened? I mean, somebody got into my work email somehow.
Yeah, so let me tell you what happened, because yesterday, 2 days ago, I arrived in New York, and in the morning I get an email from one of the professionals. I'm not going to say who because I don't want to compromise them, but basically one of the professionals we work with in the accounting area also had the same thing. So there was one of their employees that was just send me something. The format was a bit odd, and I can recognize it. So I forwarded immediately to that the president of the company, and I said, "Is this from that person? Because first we never hear from them, and it looks fishy." He said, "No, we never send this." So their domain was also hacked. So let me give a couple tips to our viewers out there.
Okay.
So when you receive an email, if it's on your phone, it'll show, let's say, from Jane King. But what you need to look at is really, if you go on a webmail, it has all the detail, or sometimes you go and you click if it has a domain or not, because anybody in the world can have an email and have the signature from Jane King. But then you look, is it J King at your domain or not? And then there's another level you can look at, which I would like to do later on today, and investigate exactly the thread to see how it was routed. Most companies don't have protection for that. Obviously we do because we're used to it. But unfortunately it happened to you, to the other person, and I actually know another one where it happened as well. And what's happening right now, there's a lot of economic mayhem, right? So everybody is trying to get a dollar from someone. It always happens in high economic activity. Right now interest rates are up, people need money, there's inflation, they'll just try to squeeze anything from anyone. In this case, it was a Bitcoin type thing. In fact, there was a company that got hacked. I read about it today. I'm not going to name them, but basically it was a cybersecurity. It was a blockchain wallet, and the hackers stole $100 million from them. And it's not the first time that it happens.
And I know we were talking about U.S. banks are starting to investigate their cyber systems and make sure, because I hear like they're almost under constant attack.
Yes.
So what are they doing to ensure that their systems are safe?
That's a great question, but again it goes back to the email. So U.S. banks, at the request of the Treasury Department, are upgrading and checking their cybersecurity because there's more threats. It's beyond just a hacker. These are international threats now. There's economic warfare between countries, which we'll discuss another time. But basically, they're probably checking any kind of back portal, their server, their infrastructure. So that's all great. But then when you use the typical email services out there, which I won't name because they're trillion-dollar companies, you send an email just like yours was probably hosted on one of those. It's useless. It's useless. You need a really closed-loop system.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's better than not having any security. Also, I would recommend reducing your social media footprint by as much as you can. They talk about, environmental pollution. I call about social media pollution. And reduce your footprint, because that's where all the hackers and the machines learn about you.
That's right. So they can say things in the subject line or whatever that might get you to. Got it.
Absolutely.
Okay. So email is really the entryway.
Email is 94% of all the hacks. And some people tell me, yeah, but how would your email would have protected this company like Capital One that got their database hacked?
How would it?
Well, we need human behavior too. Machines cannot do everything. And basically the idea is it starts with your communications tool. So use a proper communication tool. Don't use WhatsApps to send messages about work. That people do that all the time. Use a secure system like, for example, what we offer, let's say, or another company if it's there. But basically emails have to be watched. That's the critical thing, because they spy on you, then they know that, okay, this person uses that database, and people make mistakes, as the Latin, I don't know if it was a philosopher or Caesar said, to err is human. But we need to think more proactively and use our critical thinking alongside the sophisticated machines.
Okay. Thank you so much, Alain.
With pleasure.
Always great advice.
Thank you so much.
SKUR, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. SKUR is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. SKUR doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download SKUR. Visit sekur.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Want to get linked to a really good investment? Everyone knows you have to be at the right place at the right time. So here's the deal. Link2 is that place. And when you sign up, you'll join an awesome community of investors with access to the world's leading private companies way before they go mainstream. Are you ready to get linked to? Our unicorns are waiting. Link2. Private investing made simple.
Glint has developed proprietary technology that enables everyone to buy gold. Gold that's stored in Brink's vaults, insured by Lloyd's of London. With Glint's app and debit card, peace of mind is just a few taps away. It's easy to protect your hard-earned savings, and there are no minimums, hidden fees, or financial advisors required. To learn how to safeguard your future, go to glintpay.com or download Glint from your favorite app store.
We can do better. Existing security systems are often obsolete and ineffective. Today's challenges require a new approach, a personal approach. RAD Light My Way places personal safety in the hands of everyone.
This area is under live monitoring, activated by RAD Light My Way.
The only way we make a safer world is when we all have a hand in it.
Activated by RAD Light My Way.
Just one of the innovations from AITX. Visit AITX.ai.
Growing clones in-house can severely drain both quality and costs for cannabis and hemp businesses. PharmaGreen Biotech is the key to growing high-quality plantlets. PharmaGreen services includes premium tissue cultured starter plantlets and live preservation of any plant species. Grow into the future of optimized plant growth with PharmaGreen. See our update at update.pharmagreen.ca.
Well, PetVivo has a unique treatment for osteoarthritis for pets, and now they've also got a huge deal to announce. With me to talk more about this, National Sales Manager Mark Middleton. So, Mark, MWI, this is an animal health company. Is it a new distribution partner for PetVivo? Can you talk about that a little bit?
It is a new distribution partner that has been around for decades and decades. I've actually competed against them in my former earlier life, and they were very, very good competitors, good people, but it's a good partner for PetVivo. And why it's a good partner is simply because they have multiple shipping locations across the US, which will allow for easy access to spring osteocushion technology. Another key component that MWI Animal Health does well is they have one of the strongest digital marketing teams in the US animal health market, as well as other territories. And so that right there alone will help PetVivo get the word out about osteocushion technology called Spring.
Yeah, no, this sounds like a real leap forward for the company. How exactly will they work with PetVivo?
How will they work with PetVivo? Well,
They'll just-
number one, their inside and outside sales teams have an uncanny ability with their leadership of this company to focus on a task. And we need to bring awareness about Spring because we're a small company and we're all doing all kinds of jobs within PetVivo. And now with this partnership, it allows awareness and education about Spring osteocushion technology to be easily accessible to veterinary physicians. And we're excited about it.
Yeah. Well, how or what do you want to accomplish jointly in your first year of this partnership?
Awareness, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Awareness about osteocushion technology. MWI will also be key to helping PetVivo establish a brand. Brand development, awareness, because when you see and learn about this technology and how it improves medical outcomes for companion animal family members and equine athletes, it's quite amazing. And MWI will help bring that awareness in the animal health market space. And we're very honored and humbled to partner with MWI.
And then how do you think this relationship will evolve over time?
Number one, new products. We're starting with spring osteocushion technology, but PetVivo has a pipeline of over a dozen products patented around this biomaterial. So there's going to be new products to launch as we evolve our partnership, new territories, and introduction of spring osteocushion technology and new products into new territories. The teaching resources that MWI has to help educate veterinary physicians as well as pet parents and equine athlete owners. So teaching, they're human resources. They have a very good sales team, both inside and out, that have the ability to focus, because I've had to compete against them in my former life, and they're very, very good, and it's very humbling. And then their media access and how they digitally help bring awareness and brand location, not location, but brand recognition. And then, no doubt, the education part. So Jane, this is the right partner for us initially, no doubt.
Well, congratulations on that. I know that you've worked hard and John's worked hard, and so it's great to see a partnership like this, and hopefully it will blossom for you as you envision.
It's very humbling, and it's humbling to be here with you, and you have a blessed day today and a great weekend. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mark.